Okay, I'm calling the borough meeting to order at 7:03 on Monday, December the 9th. And the flag salute will be led by Councilwoman Ballmiller.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pursuant to the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by posting on the bulletin board in the Beach Haven Municipal Building and mailing the same to the Beach Haven Times, the Asbury Park Press, and the Press of Atlantic City. Mr. Allen.
Here.
Mrs. Baumiller.
Here.
Mr. Lynch.
Here.
Mr. Maskell. Mayor Davis.
Here.
Cash receipts in the current fund account for the period of November 1st through November 30th, 2019 were $2,626,959.89. Cash disbursements in the current fund account for the month of November totaled $1,348,705.51. Cash balance in the current fund account for this period totaled $13,502,039.17. Cash receipts in the water utility account for the period of November 1st through November 30th, 2019 were $150,184.55. Cash disbursements in the water utility account for the month of November totaled $52,376.98. And the cash balance in the water utility account as of November 30th, 2019 was $3,794,696.63.
Thank you. So now we have the approval of the minutes without formal reading.
We have a November 12th regular meeting and a November 27th agenda meeting.
Is there any corrections or any comments? Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ordinance 2019-32C, an ordinance amending Chapter 212-14, Use Regulations, BD, Business District of the Borough Code of the Borough of Beach Haven, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, to require the installation of master plan streetscape in certain instances. Final reading.
This is the final reading, so we can open it to public discussion. The Land Use Board did come back with a couple of comments. I think that from the discussions with individual councilmen, we would prefer to leave this the same. Am I correct on that? So I'm opening the floor now to the public regarding the streetscape, if anybody would like to come forward and speak. Okay, I close the floor. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve. Second.
Mr. Allen.
Yes.
Mrs. Baumiller.
Yes.
Mr. Lynch.
Yes.
Mayor Davis.
Yes.
Ordinance 2019-37C, an ordinance amending Chapter 180 swimming pools of the Code of the Borough of Beach Haven, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, to prohibit dewatering from June 15th through Labor Day. Final reading.
Again, it's final reading. I'm opening this to the public. Would anybody like to speak to this? This limits the dewatering of pools during the summer.
It's wonderful.
Okay?
Good. Very happy. Thank you.
All right, close the floor. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve. Second.
Mr. Allen.
Yes.
Mrs. Baumiller.
Yes.
Mr. Lynch.
Yes.
Mayor Davis.
Yes.
Ordinance 2019-39C, an ordinance amending Chapter 2 Administrative Code of the Borough of Beach Haven, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, to amend the required qualifications for Public Works Superintendent. Final reading.
This is final reading, so I'm opening the floor to this. This just gives a little more requirements of the public work head. Anybody want to speak to that? Therefore, I close the floor. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Allen.
Yes.
Mrs. Baumiller.
Yes.
Mr. Lynch.
Yes.
Mayor Davis.
Yes.
Ordinance 2019-40C, an ordinance amending Chapter 112 houseboats of the Code of the Borough of Beach Haven to establish rules and regulations for live-aboard vessels within the borough. First reading.
We've sort of discussed this among ourselves. Jamie knows a lot about this. If you'd like to make a couple of comments.
Well, what this ordinance does, it really allows people to have the opportunity to stay on their boat, which they have been doing, but with some restrictions. I have talked to marina owners that have allowed this, and it is very strict. The marinas have to follow state regulations regarding pump out facilities. They have to have logs. They have to turn it into the state every year. So it is very regulated on the state level. So at the municipal level, we are also going to allow this as well. Does anybody have any questions about the ordinance on council to discuss? I mean,
This is on council before you open the floor. Does anybody
No.
have?
No.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna open the floor to public comment. If anybody would like to comment about this particular ordinance, the Live on Your Boat ordinance? No comments, so I will close the floor. And is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve. Second?
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Mrs. Bowmiller?
yes.
Mr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mayor Davis?
Yes.
All matters listed under item consent agenda are considered to be routine by the municipal council and will be enacted by one motion in the form listed. Any items requiring expenditure supported by a certification of availability of funds and any item requiring discussion will be removed from the consent agenda and discussed separately. All consent agenda items will be reflected in full in the minutes. Resolution 240, authorizing refund of taxes due to appeal. Resolution 242, returning park bond. Resolution 244, authorizing the execution of an agreement with Ocean County Board of Chosen Freeholders for the use of the County Recycling Center and Revenue Sharing Program. Resolution 245, partial refund of video gaming license fees for Wainwright Amusements. Resolution 247, approving change order number 1 for the 2019 light pole replacement project at Veterans Park. 249s, authorizing a refund to Frank Riley. Resolution 250, refunding tax payments. 251, returning park bonds. 252, refunding piling bonds. 253, canceling taxes. And 254, refunding fire safety inspection fees.
Is there anybody who would like to remove any of these for further discussion?
No.
Okay, therefore do I have a motion to approve all these resolutions as read?
Motion to approve all is read. Second?
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Mrs. Bowmiller?
Yes.
Mr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mayor Davis?
Yes.
I have a bill list this evening in the amount of $1,610,633.67.
Anybody have any questions about the bills?
No.
No.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the bills?
Motion to approve. Second?
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Mrs. Bowmiller?
Yes.
Mr. Lynch?
Yes.
Mayor Davis?
Yes. All right, at this point, I'm opening the floor to public comment. If you would like to speak, come forward, introduce yourself, and state your address. Nobody wants to come forward and speak. All right, I'm closing the floor. Everyone wants to get home and see the Eagles game. Oh, okay. Come forward. I didn't close the floor.
John Harvey, 211 2nd Street in Beach Haven. And I just have a couple of questions about the Morrison's development. And first of all, just the real disappointment that decisions were made and the vote was made without the public seeing that agreement. And as seeing it now, there are so many questions, and we believe that you, specifically the people that voted in favor, were really looking out for the community, and now there's serious questions about that. And so I have two specific questions. One is around excusing the developer from any water management or impermeability requirements, which from an environmental standpoint just seems, I don't want to use too strong a word, but at the forefront of the environmental issue at the Bay and the ocean, to allow that to happen is just incredible. And then the second question is, there's some confusion about tax abatements, even at this Surflight meeting. Some people nodded that they had been part of it. Some people did not know about it. I actually have two questions. So second, if you can comment on that. What's the status of tax abatements, and why would we be giving abatements to a developer when we're giving them all of these other conditions?
Oh,
And
is that
the
it?
third is, I go to the third one. And the third is just a question. Is when we negotiate these agreements, these development agreements, is the entire council involved in the negotiation? Because there was some question that night as to who had seen what and not seen what as it relates to the agreement. Thanks.
Unfortunately, we've been advised by our lawyers not to talk about this in public because of impending litigation. So we really can't say anything at this point. I can say that there's been no request for a tax abatement at this point, so that hasn't come up. That doesn't mean it won't, but technically, as far as the details go, we cannot discuss this. I'm sorry.
Just to answer your question, because I said, yes, I knew about a tax abatement, okay? I know about tax abatements. I did not know about the tax abatement for Morrison, so let's make that perfectly clear. I've not discussed any tax abatement. I do not know of any right now, but I do know of tax abatements in the town.
Got it.
So I'll clarify my statement right now.
That's helpful.
Anybody else like to come forward and speak?
Eileen Jacob, 315 Iroquois. I've been coming to meetings for the past few years, and I have a question because I remember you were saying, we were talking about new building and things like that, and how we wanted to make new construction have a certain amount of greenery planted on their properties. I remember you talking about it. Has anything been done about it?
Well, we have increased the amount of permeable land you have to have on your property. I personally would like to have a certain amount of green, because to me, the green is what actually releases oxygen and absorbs the carbon dioxide. We talked about it with Frank. It got so complicated. I wanted to say, we have an 18-inch area around the periphery that I wanted to say had to be planted in green, and he kept Frank Little, our engineer, kept putting holes in this. So we don't have any requirement now to say, you can put all gravel in. You don't have to have anything green. I still would like to address this. I think it's really important to have at least a segment of your property that has a tree or a bush or something that's growing.
I live on Iroquois, across from where the Beck Farm was, and now these houses have gravel, and now the street floods. It never flooded, ever. This is like within a year. And water just sits in the street now. So, personally, I think you should work harder at trying to get the builders to plant plants.
I agree. I agree. We really need to do that. You're absolutely right.
Well, I would appreciate it if more would be done about it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else like to come forward and speak? Nobody? Okay, this time I am closing the floor to public comment. It's going to be I'll go watch the Eagles game. So the final remarks by council. You want to start, Dan?
Sure. I want to say, this weekend, my family and I went up to see the Christmas tree get lit. We weren't able to squeeze into the museum because it was a packed house.
You could have come down to the
I
front.
reserved
We
the
had
first
seats
two
for
seats
you.
for the
We
kids.
had reserved seats for you, Dan.
Nobody tells me these things. Anyway.
So sorry.
Well, it was a great event. Santa came, the kids went bananas, and it was fun. And I think it's one of the things that makes, it's good to see a community coming together like that and celebrating together, because I think lately, too many of us have been at odds with each other. So it's good to see everybody together and have fun and reconnect a little bit. And other than that, I hope the Eagles beat the Giants tonight.
I would just like to kind of say exactly what Dan said. I was also at the, it was a scene weekend, starting with 'Tis the Season. Friday night at the Surflight, it was an amazing performance. I encourage all of you to go see it, not only because my niece is in it, but because it's a great show. And then followed by the tree lighting as well at the museum, singing the 12 Days of Christmas. It was just it's always refreshing when the community comes together as a small town. And I really feel like, I say it again and again, almost at every meeting, I really feel that people come here, even on the off season, to kind of have that small town atmosphere and, singing together and participating together and not many communities have the entire fire department come out as, you know, Santa Claus for their children. So it's refreshing, and I think a lot of people, you know, come here for that small town atmosphere. Other than that, I don't have much to say. Enjoy your holiday, and we'll see you afterwards on the 30th.
Hope everybody had a nice Thanksgiving. I guess you loosened one more belt, a lot of knives under the belt, because it was a great time. We had friends come into town, and we took them over to the tree trimming. They loved it. Thought it was a great idea. Wonderful to see the town together. The other thing, I think, again, I repeat this every time it comes out, but the police report is really outstanding. It does show that this town does care. It does show that the police are active and are there when you need them. And I mean that sincerely. I've used them a couple of times on certain things, emergency type of things. And they've been there, so I raise my hat to them, and I think they're a great bunch of people, and they really are very stellar as far as the community goes. And that's all. And if I don't see you before Christmas, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Okay.
And I just repeat everything everybody else said. I have to say that so many people came up to me after Thanksgiving weekend and said, "What? Thanksgiving was so wonderful." These are all people with grandchildren, and they said there was just so much to do in town. And there was so much going on that you couldn't do it all. And this is what Beach Haven is about, and Jamie's absolutely right. The tree lighting was wonderful. And I'm going to see the show Wednesday night, so I hear it's great. So if you haven't purchased tickets, you should do that. And I'm very excited because last night I had a new grandchild. So it's my second little granddaughter, so very happy about that. So that's good news for me. So have a wonderful, wonderful holiday season, and let's all try to be as civil to each other as we can. Thanks. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Yeah.
Right.